Okay, so let's do blood vessels for the kidney. Going in, right, we said was renal artery, leaving was renal vein, and also leaving was ureter. But the blood vessels heading in from the renal artery, it separates into these little branches that segment to the different segments of the kidney. From the segments, it goes between the lobes, so they call it interlobar. It makes a little arc, they call it arcuate, and then it goes between the tiny little lobes, interlobular, before it becomes something else. So let's do this. From the renal artery, it becomes, I said segmental, right? So it goes to the segment, so we call it segmental. From the segmental artery, it makes, it goes between the lobes, so we call it interlobar. From there, it makes an arc, so we just call it arcuate. After it makes an arc, it goes between tiny little lobes. So we call those interlobular. Be careful, lobar and lobular look very, very, very similar. They're not. From interlobular, it makes, so these are all arteries. But arteries become smaller blood vessels called arterioles. So from interlobular artery, it goes through afferent arterioles. They're tiny arterioles. And then it passes through a group of capillaries and exits as efferent arterioles. So these tiny little capillaries here are called your glomerular capillaries. They are important because they provide fluid to the nephron, and the nephron is the basic functional unit of the kidney. Again, what is the nephron? It is the basic functional unit of the kidney. So these are blood vessels. From here on, you don't really, I'm not going to test too heavily on, but I will review it. From efferent, there are capillaries that wrap around the tube of the nephron, so they just call it peritubular. Peri means around. Tubular is the tube of the nephron. Peritubular capillaries. Then there's a portion that has straight blood vessels, so they just call them vasa, as in straight, and recta, or vasa means blood vessel, recta is referring to straight. It's a group of straight blood vessels that will draw fluid from the nephron to return it back to the body. And then it repeats backwards from interlobular veins to arcuate veins, interlobar veins, segmental veins, and renal vein. But I want to test you primarily on the flow of blood through the arteries. So again, let's take a look at this. Here we go, another picture of the same thing. But this is the diagram that I just drew. Renal arteries, segmental arteries, interlobar arteries, arcuate, interlobular, afferent, nephron, and then they don't show, this is efferent, then it goes through different names.